Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Small School AD on the Educational AD Podcast. This is our weekly series featuring athletic directors from smaller schools across the country sharing their best practices. Before we meet before we meet our guest today, first we want to give an acknowledgement to our sponsors. Now, don't hit that fast forward button. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director, and I highly recommend that you check them out. So take 3 minutes, listen to our sponsorship messages, then listen to our small school AD interview, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame for their support. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the events, or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's also a great way to showcase your school's unique history and brag about your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check them out today. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform that you're going to use every single day for things like scheduling, uploading scores and rosters, communication. How about athletic eligibility and clearance? Who doesn't do that every day? Home Campus does all of these things and more, does them better, does it faster. To get started, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We want to say thanks to Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and ended up disappointed with your return? Stop right here. Go to snapraise.com. Hands down, the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with great success. Our coaches loved it. Our parents loved it because it works. Go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. snapraise.com. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their scoreboards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. The website is sidelineinteractive.com. Check them out today. We also want to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. This is an affordable 20-month, completely online master's program that also allows you to complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses to go towards your RAA or your CAA. To get started, just go to ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. We want to say thank you to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started. It's digital ticketing that offers more. hometownticketing.com. We want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic directors already get feedback, but usually it's from a very small group that just wants to complain. Athletic Surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% of your stakeholders that support your program. And that data is incredibly valuable, especially when you're meeting with that frustrated parent, maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. athleticsurveys.com. And we want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Their team is going to have you creating world-class content for your social media channel in seconds. Your kids are on social media, so are a lot of their parents. And if you're not putting out content to acknowledge their accomplishments, celebrate your program, you're really missing out. Go to Gipper.com to get started. It's so easy. That's Gipper.com. You're going to be very glad you did. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Small School Athletic Director on the Educational AD Podcast. If you're new to the series, this is a weekly series we do featuring athletic directors from smaller schools across the country. And our definition of a small school is, say, less than 300 students in the upper four grades, if it's a combined school, or less than 300 in the high school. We've got one of our good friends from the podcast. He was featured in the third edition of the Athletic Director's Toolbox. Our guest today is Eric Wood. Eric's a certified athletic administrator. He's the director of athletics at West Valley American Prep Academy. That's in the Salt Lake City area. Has a tremendous background as a coach, as an AD, as a leader. And we're excited to have him with us on Small School AD. Eric, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel so blessed to be able to share. I've had some pretty amazing experiences as an athletic administrator and just as overall in general in my career. And I love the fact that I'm able to share, and I appreciate that you're allowing me to come on board today.
Oh, no, absolutely. For listeners, we're recording this on July 9th, so it's, right in the middle of summer. Going to be pretty timely by the time you're listening to it. Eric, you know the format. What do you have to share with our listeners this week on Small School AD?
I thought about this a lot, and I think my first thing is finding your happy. I think that not only outside the job you finding you're happy, but inside the job finding you're happy. Um, our tasks never get small. Our tasks are always there. We always have fires that come up. But finding you're happy in whether it's going to games or supporting your kids or supporting your coaches, in the job, finding you're happy is critical. But I also think outside the job, finding that happy, there's a phrase that you can't you can't move forward if the gas tank is empty. And so filling that gas tank up is, finding that happy. So a perfect example, last night, my wife, I come home and I'm exhausted, a little stressful day at work. And wife goes, "Hey, let's go to the waterfall." And I'm like, I really just wanted to sit down and chill. And instead we hiked a mile up to this amazing waterfall. And it just like brought this whole sense of peace and calm over me. I'm a avid fisherman. I love fishing. So that's typically my happy. Um, but just getting out in nature can be a huge happiness. And sometimes just getting that stress relief helps you to be better at what we do every single day. And I think the second thing that I would highly think is networking. When we're in a small school, it's extremely difficult to find somebody in that school who has the same issues that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And so if you have other athletic directors that you can talk to and work with, you have other community people that kind of in the field, they can help you with solutions and help you with the fires. And, we can be on an island many times in our school. And so being able to get off that island and use that network and really help us to find solutions and that network is just absolutely critical. I love, going to conferences. I love seeing other athletic directors and even talking to them because it helps me to be better at what I do and to be my best self. And that better serves our student athletes, our coaches, and our families.
Well, I just love the ideas. Again, going backwards, networking. Whenever I present to, young coaches, young ADs, or older ones, I really hammer home that networking is probably one of the most important things you can do, and it's something that I didn't do a good job of early in my career. I wish I would have started that. Um, Building my own network sooner, because you're absolutely right. Nobody understands the role, the life, the challenges, and the rewards of being an AD better than another athletic director. So yeah, build your network. And finding your happy. I haven't heard it phrased that way, but it is so important. And it's going to be different for somebody else. I know, you post your fishing accomplishments on social media quite a bit. I don't like to fish myself. I like to catch. So whenever I'm going out with somebody, I say, "Are we fishing or are we catching?" Because if we're fishing, I don't know if I'm coming, but if we're catching, sign me up. Um, Eric, again, I know you're really busy, but if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and add you to their network. And listeners, you've got a tremendous resource here. Eric's very active, in the state association, et cetera. Great resource. What's the best way that one of our listeners can get a hold of Eric Wood?
I would say the email is probably one of the best ways. They can email me at my school email, which is ewood at westvalleyapa.org, or my personal email account, which is probably the easiest way to get to me because that's on my phone every day also, and that's Eric's Rules, ERICSRULES at AOL.com. Those are probably the two easiest ways to get a hold of me. And I would love anybody had any questions, anybody wanted to start networking. I would be super excited to be able to share and just, converse with somebody. I think, having conversations with others really helps us to be better at what we do.
Oh no, and it's all part of, building that network and continuing to grow in our profession so you can better serve your students and your coaches and your community. Great stuff. Eric, thanks so much for sharing with our listeners today. All the best with your fishing this summer and, with the start of a new school year.
I'll change it back to catching. And so thank you. Like I said, I'm super blessed to be in here, and I look forward to maybe being on that boat with you sometime, and just enjoying that time because I know you enjoy getting out on your boat and being on the water.
Oh, absolutely. I pass people that are, I don't know if they're fishing or catching. I never see them pulling anything in, but all the time. So I'm waiting for somebody to come down here and teach me how to be a catcher. Right? Eric, thanks again for our listeners. We want to say thanks to you and remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do small school AD every week, and just about every day we try to share stories and best practices. So come back next time for another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Always a great time with Eric Wood. Before we go, it's a great time with these sponsors. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're sponsors, but they're sponsors because I used them and I trust them, and they're going to be good for you too. So please, if you're not using them, check them out. Gipper at Gipper.com, Huddle, obviously Huddle.com. Hometown Ticketing is hometownticketing.com. Snap Raise, if you're looking for a fundraiser, snapraise.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Once you see their product, you're really going to want one for your school. VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. Home Campus, as I say, it's a platform you'll use every single day. HomeCampus.com. Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Tables, Video Boards, SidelineInteractive.com. Athletic Surveys. We use surveys for everything at our school, and so will you. AthleticSurveys.com. And the Ohio University Online Masters. I didn't get my master's from Ohio University, but my assistant athletic director did. And it was a tremendous experience for him. And he completed those LTI courses too, Ohio University. Check it out. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on Small School AD on the Educational AD Podcast.